Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and today my guest is sidereal astrologer Krasi Atasio, who covered the month of June for us. She would first do a summary of the whole month, what to expect. We have a big title on the video here, as you can see. Things are brewing up celestially, and then she will cover each of the 12 signs uh, according to tropical and according to sidereal. Tropical is the Western zodiac that we in the West are familiar with, the one sign behind, no, ahead. And sidereal is the actual constellations, but Krasi mentions them both. So, Krasi, what you told me a very kind of intense name, global
Intense.
financial.
It is Wada because I checked some of the celestial configurations. I checked historically, and I'm speaking mainly, but not only, about the movement of Mars into Leo and Mars joining Ketu in Leo. This is one of the details that I will be speaking about. So we mentioned this, but first of all, Venus is also leaving her place of exaltation, Pisces, and she's entering Aries. She'll be in Aries exactly 1 month. We see Venus as quite weak, of course, in Aries. Secondly, Jupiter, who is symbol of abundance. He's the one who brings
Wealth,
wealth.
abundance, yeah.
Exactly. He also is not only fallen in Gemini, now he's in Gemini, but also in the beginning of June, he's becoming invisible. Mid-July, he becomes visible again, but he will be invisible now in his point of fall. The same with Venus, which is not invisible, but in Aries. And then Mars is leaving, like I mentioned, Cancer, and he's entering Leo. Mars is the only one that will be very strong, because Mars, of course, in Leo is in his in the fire triplicity. He feels very well in Leo, obviously, but he, from the very beginning of his passage into Leo, he's exchanging energies with Ketu. You will say the conjunction is quite far, yes, but when they share the same sign, this is already conjunction. They exchange energies. And imagine Mars in Leo, soldier like, very brave, very warrior like type, of Mars. And he's meeting Ketu, the tail of the dragon, the lunar node, who is associated with our past karma, to previous experiences, but karma in general, and limitations. Ketu is always about limitations because it is believed wherever Ketu is, we went through these lessons, we had these experiences, so there is the limitation. So Ketu, who is limitation, is meeting the one who is not limitation, but just the other way around. He's very driven in Leo. And this becomes very explosive. And historically, I went back to see when these conjunctions in Leo occurred. Every time there was financial crisis. I tried to see if this is related to the prices of gold, not automatically, not really, but always financial crises, always when Mars and Ketu would meet in Leo.
Hmm.
So this is
Can you give us an example of another time it happened? Do you remember?
yes, I think one was 88. Then you had one, and you had one 1914, by the way, when you even had war plus crash. And then you had one, I checked them, all of them yesterday, and I didn't remember dates, but I saw always financial problems, market crashes during this timing. And you mentioned something that I even forgot about. You
Yes,
said
yes.
Jupiter Saturn square. This is also not very good
We
for,
had it two times already, last year in August, and a
yes.
few days between the square, suddenly everything on TV was market is crashing, but it crashed for only a week or 10 days and it recovered. And then there was another time, but this is the last one, but it's this time Saturn is with Neptune.
See,
And this time it's like three giants, gas giants, Neptune, Saturn, and Jupiter, three very large planets. These are the three largest planets, Neptune, Saturn, and Jupiter, in a war. Saturn and
in a war,
Neptune in a war with Jupiter. And Jupiter Saturn squares, we always know it's something financial. At least that's what we saw.
always. And Wada, historically also, Saturn and Neptune, when they met, here I don't know, it doesn't matter the sign, but when they had conjunction, always very revolutionary events. And one of them was the Berlin Wall. It was again in 89. You had Neptune, Saturn conjunction, Russian Revolution, Neptune, Saturn conjunction, Egypt English War, Neptune, Saturn conjunction. So this can make the war more global, like more countries will be involved. I
Well,
believe.
there is the saying now that Russia is saying that's the end of negotiations. We tried, and they're like, and Ukraine says we don't want negotiations anymore, something like that. I'm not quite sure, but they're saying we're gonna hit now strong. And in Western astrology, Saturn Neptune conjunction is in the tropical sign Aries.
Oh,
So,
oh,
but they're also near the star Shiat, which is kind of about
Taurus. Yeah.
revolutions. Yeah.
But Wada, one thing with Russia is a little bit different. The cycle is different because with Russia, the war started when we had the heliacal rise of Mars in Scorpio. This was just before, like it was maybe days before the war started. So it started really with the clear cycle of Mars, the heliacal rise of Mars. Mars is now completing cycle. The war of Russia will not continue so long. The problem will be other wars which may start here and there. And I'm worried about Pakistan, India, you know. So we will see, but Saturn Neptune conjunction is not a very peaceful conjunction indeed.
And
Indeed, but
it's continuing a whole year. So we can't say exactly no June it starts, but we have another one. It continues in July. It gets
yes.
exact in February 2026. So
Oh,
it's unfolding.
yeah. And also in 2026, in the summer, Mars is appearing heliacally in Aries,
So
Sidereal.
it's a new cycle of Mars with that's very warlike energy, which in
Yes.
March 2026.
Yes, it was in beginning of 2026. Yes, he. So but already the very desired by the rulers market crash will be marked with this, I think, on market trouble, or let's say volatility, because it can start with market rise and then sudden fall, because this is more like a volatile situation than describing it immediately as a crash, to be more precise.
Can I ask you, why did you say this so desired by the rulers market volatility or crash? Why are you saying that?
Uh, now, astrologically, well, it is astrologically why by the rulers?
Is it
It will be a long
personal feelings?
both Wada. It is my always personal lack of belief in the system, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm biased. I admit I am biased, but here is the thing: whether we will get from Mars um, the high vibrational manifestations, or the ones which are you know which are, how to say it, projected in a way, in the terms of fears on the people. Mars is fierce, Mars is anxiety, but Mars is also, in Babylon, this is what yesterday I was reading again, the story of Nergal.
It is
He
Mars.
was, yes, Mars, God Nergal, Mars. He was called the Lord, indeed. He was the Lord of disease, wars, fears. Of course, we know. But people also used Nergal, and they would make magic and invocation and incantations to invoke Nergal for protection. So he can make you brave, or he can make you afraid. And when I mentioned about the rulers, what I mean also is that they project on us the low vibrations of
They want
Mars.
fearful people to be because they easily
Yes.
controlled. That's what.
And in general, the collective falls. Once we spoke with you about this, they kind of choose the low vibrational aspects of the planets, unfortunately, unless people are awake, and people are already awakening very much. So I still believe that not enough people are awake, and we may fall in the low vibrational manifestation of Mars and Ketu together. Because also, Mars and Ketu together, when you see in personal horoscopes, it's always impulsiveness. People do not take time to think. They react impulsively. They are afraid and they react impulsively.
Because
This is
Ketu
Mars.
is the lack of head. Ketu is a snake without a dragon without a head. So it's acting primitively from initial impulse.
Exactly.
Mars, the fear, the anger.
Very true. And you see, and when they're together, and this is explosive combination. One
Listen,
is
Ketu and South Node were together when the pandemic started. Were together with
exactly. Oh yeah, I
Saturn and
forgot.
Jupiter.
Yeah, I
And
know.
everyone lost their head, and it was, yeah, I mean, everyone was scared.
And Mars is also disease. You know, when the cattle of whole villages and cities would die in ancient times, they would blame it on Mars always. Always on Mars. Mars is disease. Mars is plague. This could mean another disease, but I don't see it so much as disease because this is Leo, you know, and in Leo, it is,
They just started saying new COVID strains of
oh, they
China
will
are
try.
very deadly. Whatnot.
We know they would try WADA because, you know, Mars appeared in Pisces. We knew they would try, and they keep trying. And even now I was laughing. I saw a title, another much more severe COVID bullshit is coming. So they would try. They try because Mars appeared for the first time in Pisces, obviously, you know, disease. Now could be, but I don't see it to such degree really as disease. More like market, more like because Leo is a sign of wealth. You have the sun ruling. Leo is a sign of, you know,
Celebrities, wealth,
and
elite.
yes, and Donald Trump has Leo ascendant. I wonder how this will affect him, you know, Donald Trump. America has Scorpio ascendant, I think, countries, and Leo is also the ruling sign of France. Which other countries? I don't know, but countries which are ruled by Leo or this axis of power, the cross, you know, of Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio certainly will be affected by this financial. I see it more like that, but yes, we have to remain very much to try to connect with the high vibrational energies of Mars, which are courage, brave status, brave behavior, soldier-like decent behavior, you know, morals. This is the true soldier. And in Leo, Mars can easily be the true soldier. So it's up to us whether we fall under the what the matrix is trying to impose, or we remain very brave and
Beautiful.
even more courageous than before. So this is how I see it. And then we mentioned, you know, Saturn, Jupiter square. And by the way, someone said, and I would repeat it. We have to be very careful what we are saying, because with our words, of course, we, especially as astrologers, because we predict, so we need to be very careful not to also create reality. So I would say the following: there is a possibility for financial difficulties indeed, market difficulties, but it is also up to us to create very brave and very decent reality, and not to suffer from financial crisis. This is very possible.
Good. It's good to mention this,
I
that
believe in this.
we're
Yes.
just looking back at similar cycles. We're not psychic, we're not God. We're like, okay, this happened, but they don't usually say the wonderful things that also happen during the same cycles. It's never in the news, it's never on Wikipedia, and we just announce the things that are more scary.
What was the wonderful thing that happened? Remember, such awakening, Wada. No one is the same as before. Like all of us are before these times, 2020, and after.
The
We
last
are not the
part,
same people.
South Node
None of
coming.
us. And it's all for good because now everyone with open eyes, we don't believe the system anymore. We have more trust and self believe more in ourselves. We're trying to find who we truly really are, and this we wouldn't do before.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, saying about wonderful things, sometimes I'm thinking actually this pandemic was a very good thing. Was a very good thing.
Absolutely. And I felt so alone before that. And now uh, everyone is pretty much almost everyone, even as I said, my neighbors who are 8 years old, they're speaking about things. Oh, there is, they're spraying something. If they see it, every time it rains after they've been spraying, because you see the sky is covered, the tomatoes die, the cucumbers die, because I live in a very rural area. So it only grows under cover now. So,
Same here. Well,
mhm. But
so no,
anyway,
but
we went
we
on a
went too far. Yeah, yeah.
and Krasi will cover the 12 signs, but before she starts, I want to say that she's doing a course on love and marriage according to ancient and modern astrology rules. It's a very great discount for it. If you join us, it will be live on the 28th of June, or you can just watch the recording and own it after that. We moved it a month later because my daughter broke her arm. So I was like, okay, let's move a bit. And yeah, so I'll put the link below. She uses only the techniques that she found from ancient and modern astrology that are most effective. So she teaches you her method of uh, assessing chart for relationships, for dating, for also dating marriages and committed relationships and compatibility as well after that. So
Yes,
it's
and
2 days. It's
timing of events. Yeah.
it's 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, 28th and 29th of June. Anyone who'd like to join us, I will put a link below in the description to come.
Thank you, Wada. Okay, maybe now we can continue with the 12 ascendants from both perspectives, sidereal and tropical. So we're starting with sidereal ascendant Aries, or if you do not know the time of your birth, you can use the moon sign. So it will be moon in Aries, sidereal, or ascendant sidereal Aries, or for the modern tropical astrology, this would be Taurus. Now, for you, this actually very interesting is June, and in a way good because Venus is coming to stay 1 month on your ascendant. Even though she's fallen in Aries, still to have Venus on your ascendant for 1 month is a true blessing because this is ascendant, this is house of life, this is your body, your well-being, your moods, and your relationships, everything. Of course, this is a small lack of balance when it comes to relationships because she is ruling the seventh house, but is on the first. Excuse me. So you may need to be exactly to find this balance, to be more maybe loving, patient when it comes to relationships and partnerships. Another very important thing is Jupiter also will disappear on the third house of yours, which would say you will miss him until mid of July. Fallen Jupiter in your third house, you may need to put a little bit more efforts when it comes to education and be a little bit more careful when you will be traveling. In the meantime, also Mars will meet Ketu in your fifth house. There, you may have small disharmony, and this is the place of creative study, creative knowledge, and be a little bit more attentive with children. So now we're looking at people who have sidereal ascendant Taurus or moon in Taurus. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this will be Gemini. Now for you, the Venus will be in your 12th house. This way, actually, she will be supporting your health, or she can be positive when it comes to solving health matters, especially chronic ones. Later on in 1 month, actually, she's coming on your ascendant, and then you will be very joyful, I believe. Jupiter is disappearing, becomes invisible on your 2nd house. So this means June, it will be not very, very a fruitful month when it comes to finances. So I wouldn't advise you to be a little bit careful when you make financial decisions, and be patient. Jupiter will become visible again and things will get better, but June may not be very, very fruitful financially month. In the meantime, Mars is entering Leo. He will meet Ketu in your 4th house, meaning be a little bit more loving, attentive with your parents, and try not to make impulsive decisions when it comes to properties or relocations or even at your work. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Gemini or moon in Gemini. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Cancer. For you, Jupiter becomes invisible right on your ascendant and becomes visible mid-July. Be a little bit more patient, loving with your partner, careful with business partnerships. At your career place, workplace, also be a little bit more careful, and this wouldn't be the most appropriate months for new projects, new beginnings. Mars and Ketu will meet on your 3rd house, which means try not to make impulsive decisions when it comes to choosing education. When you will be completing studies, education, make sure that you're very, well organized. And also when you travel, be a little bit more careful. Make sure that you travel in the most choose good moments indeed. And of course, be patient in your career place, diplomatic, because really month of June is not the most appropriate month for new beginnings and for new projects. Be very diplomatic and careful. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Cancer or moon in Cancer, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Leo. For you, lucky for you, Mars is leaving your ascendant, so this would be a relief, and he's entering your 2nd house, and there he's meeting Ketu. Be careful a little bit and don't make impulsive decisions when it comes to finances or connection with family roots, family members. When it comes to education, also knowledge, studies, try to be organized. Don't make impulsive decisions. Jupiter is disappearing in your 12th house. Be a little bit more responsible and take good care of yourself, responsible for your health, and take good care of yourself and your own health in particular. And don't trust very much people. Be aware of hidden enemies. But of course, this will be the situation will improve after mid-July. Now we're looking at people who have sidereal ascendant Leo or moon in Leo. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Virgo. For you, the Mars is coming on your ascendant together with Ketu. This may bring a little bit of disharmony in your personal life, in your emotional status. So try to be more patient, balanced with your partner, also in your business, also when you make financial decisions. Also, Jupiter becomes invisible right on your 11th house. Be a little bit more attentive with children. Try to be in harmony with them and be attentive with children in particular, and also with your social circle. Financially, this also can be a little bit weak moment. So when you make financial decisions, try to be very well organized, not impulsive. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Virgo or moon in Virgo. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Libra. For you, with the disappearance of Jupiter in your 10th house, temptation. So when it comes to superiors in your career place, more diplomatic, careful, and this is not the timing really for new projects, new beginnings, new ideas. I would wait. In the meantime, of course, be patient, balanced, forgiving with your partner. Have a little bit of could be a little bit of tension, and also with the presence of Mars and Ketu in your 12th house, be responsible for your health. Period. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Libra or moon in Libra. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Scorpio. For your Venus is entering your 7th house. She will bless your romantic life, your partnership, and this is fine. Also, she's trining Mars and Ketu in your 11th house. This is actually a good trine for your social appearance, but Mars and Ketu can bring a little bit of dose of impulsiveness when it comes to social appearance, friendships. So be a little bit more balanced and careful there, and also be a little bit more attentive with children. In the meantime, also Jupiter becoming invisible in your 9th house of education. Make sure that you remain very structured, organized in your studies, and be careful when you travel a little bit. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Scorpio or moon in Scorpio. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Sagittarius. For you, Mars and Ketu are meeting, and Mars will be 1.5 months almost in your 10th house. There you may need to be careful because Mars and Ketu together are very impulsive combination. They're squared by Uranus. See, this we even forgot to mention. So in your career place, you may need to be very balanced, very careful, very wise and spiritual even, not impulsive. In the meantime, Jupiter becomes invisible in your 8th house. Could be that he will be not blessing certain financial situations. You may need to be careful when it comes to and follow very closely financial matters via partnerships, unexpected finances of your partner. There you may have a little bit of slowdown because of the Saturn and then Jupiter square and Jupiter invisible. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Sagittarius or moon in Sagittarius, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this will be Capricorn. Now for you, Saturn will be squaring Jupiter, who is becoming invisible in your 7th house. Certainly this is point of a little bit of attention for your business, partnerships, but also romantic life. You may need to be a little bit careful. Also, Mars is entering Leo in your 9th house and is meeting there Ketu. This would say when it comes to education, completion of education, you may need to make sure that you follow up your studies very well, that you choose carefully your studies and education. But in general, you may need to really to be very organized when it comes to studies and careful when you travel. Also, because of the disappearance of Jupiter in your 7th house, and Jupiter rules your ascendant, make sure that you remain very balanced, very forgiving, careful with your partner. In romantic, but also business sense. And you have Capricorn ascendant or moon in Capricorn, sidereal, or for the modern tropical astrology, this will be Aquarius. For you, Saturn now, as you know, your ascendant ruler is in Pisces with Neptune. Very interesting. Maybe this gives you, and will still be giving you in July and later on next year in February, amazing awakening, spiritual experiences. Venus is leaving them and is now going to be during the whole month of June in your fourth house to bless your home, parents. So this is good. Jupiter disappears in your sixth house and is squared by Saturn. So this would say be more responsible for your health and more careful with people who surround you, who share your routine environment. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Aquarius or moon in Aquarius. For modern tropical astrology, this would be Pisces. For your Jupiter disappears in your fifth house. And actually, this could be even interesting and bring depths in your artwork, talented work. The square of Saturn would say also, Saturn involves the two financial houses, second and fifth. Be a little bit more organized, structured, and don't make financial decisions when it comes to, finances or relationship with family roots, family members. Mars is entering your seventh house, where you meet Ketu. It means in your business, be wise, balanced, and don't make impulsive decisions, and be patient. And a little bit forgiving with your partner and with partnerships in general. And finally, people who have sidereal ascendant Pisces or moon in Pisces, if you're following modern astrology, this is Aries. For you, Saturn, as you know, is on your ascendant with Neptune conjoined, great for your spiritual growth. But Venus is leaving you, and she will be during the whole month of June in Aries. Yes, she's not very powerful in Aries, but financially she can be supportive. She can be supportive. Um, she will be forming trine with Mars, who will be on your sixth house, and there Mars will meet Ketu. It means be more careful with your health and with people who share your routine environment. People stay away from conflicts. Don't make impulsive reactions with people that work with you, for you. There you may need to be a little bit more careful. And then Jupiter becomes invisible right on your fourth house. This is shows that June will not be the most appropriate period for decisions related to property, real estate, even career. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was about month of June. As you see, this is month which is not very good for important new beginnings, important business decisions. We better, be very brave, very spiritual, continue our routine work without worries, without fears. July will also be very interesting with Neptune Saturn conjunction.
Thank you very much, Gracie.
Yes, Wada, thank you too.
Thank you for giving us the summarized version for each sign and the sidereal perspective on the planetary movements. And looking forward to having you again for the new course that you're doing on love and marriage. If anyone wants to join us or to contact Krasi, I've put links below for her personal readings as well, and for the webinar that she's offering. Thank you again. Thank you, everyone.